Farmer or not, if you enjoy eating, you're in agriculture. This is Food Connection Week in Texas, sponsored by Hopkins Raines Farm Bureau and about 250 other farm bureaus across the state. We asked local farmer and Farm Bureau President Don Smith to explain.
Regardless of what they do, if they eat 3 times a day, they're involved in agriculture. And that's the story this week. We're celebrating by tomorrow, actually, is February the 17th, and that's the day that we're going to do some things here in town. We're going to be presenting a check to the Meal a Day Center, both here in Sulphur Springs and the one in Emory.
Okay.
And our board of directors and some of their wives are going to be at the Methodist Church tomorrow to serve at the dinner bell. We're providing the meal tomorrow, and we're going to be there to talk to folks about agriculture and Food Connection Week and what's going on. And we're looking forward to that because that's a great ministry of that church and provides a real need in the community for people that may need a meal once a week.
Well, they really do provide a good service. People love to go to Dinner Bell because the food is freshly cooked by hand by people that you know and that are exuberant and willing to serve. Plus, there's a certain amount of just TLC. They care for the people that come.
That's right, and that kind of goes along with what we're doing this week is that we want to gently let people know that agriculture is important, that we produce food and that they can enjoy it. But we're going to be talking to those people there tomorrow as they go through the line and as we pour tea and water for them during the meal to let them know that we are agriculture and that's why we're there. But like you said, that does provide a real ministry for people that just need some companionship to get to know some people. It's just a great place and a great ministry.
Well, you represent Farm Bureau and as president this year. And Farm Bureau is kind of in the middle of a whole bunch of things going on right now. Our Food Connection Week, our Livestock Show coming up next week. You're definitely a sponsor of that. And the FFA and 4-H students.
Oh, that's right. That's just one of the things. Of course, Farm Bureau was put together to promote agriculture and to inform people as to what's going on in agriculture and whatnot. But we do support locally the Livestock Show that's there. Farm Bureau has been a long-time supporter of that. Goes way back. Billy Penn used to be the announcer for that whole thing for 3 days. He'd be out there announcing. But we're looking forward to the Livestock Show. Starts Thursday, the 25th. We'll kick it off with a luncheon for all of last year's buyers. They'll come in and we'll try to get everybody pumped up and ready to go for this extra. And then the kids will begin showing around noon that day. And they'll have shows Thursday afternoon and they'll be there Friday and then conclude the thing with a big sale. I believe it starts about 1 or 1:30 on Saturday afternoon. And we're having an awful good sale. We're just, we're there to help with it. A lot of different people come in, of course, and buy. I think the total last year went to something over $300,000. And
wow.
Farm Bureau and agriculture is just proud to be a part of that.
Well, that's our county show. Some of the youngsters who are showing at the county show have also shown at Fort Worth and maybe going to San Antonio, I think is going on right now. And they get a broader scope of experience when they, go outside the county. But this county show is really a big deal.
That's right. It's a jumping off place. And if you go through and look at some of the projects in NOLA, and we're happy that it's that way, is that there's a lot of not really young kids, but kids 9, 10 years old that are just getting started showing. They may be showing chickens or lambs or goats or pigs, or even some of them will have calves to show. But they're involved in agriculture, and that's what's so important is that we continue to have people like that, the FFA supervisors, the county extension agents, they're involved in helping educate those kids about the importance of agriculture and why farmers and ranchers do what they do.
And one more thing on that that I have seen personally, once in a while you'll have a family who has a child who wants to show livestock that maybe they don't live on a farm, but through the help of someone helps them provide a place to nurture that animal along and get ready for show day. Then when you have show day and then you make it to the sale, or you get in that top percentage that gets into the sale, then you decide whether your animal is going to go on the truck to market or you're going to take it home. And to me, that was the dawning, or the light bulb came on. It shows the youngster and their family how the food that we raise benefits the market of people who are buying foods and eating.
That's right. That's the connection. I know that we're trying to make this week with Food Connection Week, is that there is a relationship there between growing that animal or growing those vegetables or growing whatever and the food that you eat on your table. That's the connection we're wanting everyone to understand. And these livestock shows do a really good job of doing that. They teach the children that, yes, there's somebody out there that's taking care of that animal 24/7. And it's a big responsibility to say that to see that garden or to see that field full of strawberries or whatever, that somebody has to care for them to be able to get them ready to go to market so that people can enjoy them. I don't know, I saw some statistics just lately about what a person would have to do if it wasn't for the way agriculture does what they do in producing food. Can you imagine keeping a cow in your backyard and making cheese just so you could have some cheese, or all the other good things that we have? And that's what Food Connection Week's about. We want folks to understand that somebody out there on a farm and ranch is working 24/7 to provide food for them.
Well, I know that it would deter some of us who enjoy that morning cup of coffee. All we have to do is push a button and wait for the coffee. But if we had to milk to get that cream to put in that coffee, I don't know how we'd view it.
There'd probably be a lot of people that would just drink their coffee black.
I guess that's right. Well, food is a bargain, although it has been costing more lately, as all of us know.
That's right, Enola. The last couple of 3 years, because of the drought and the reduction in number of animals and a growing population, is that food has gone up some. But I saw, I guess about the first of the year, that actually the cost of food has gone down a little bit in the last few months, and so we're happy for that. But farmers and ranchers have to be profitable. So when you think about the price of food compared to everything else, food is still a real bargain. Less than 10% of a disposable income goes for your food to provide for your family. So compared to the price of a car, compared to the price of almost anything, food is a real good buy in this country. It's nutritious and it's safe. Consumers can always depend on farmers and ranchers to do a good job in taking care of their land and providing a good, safe product, whether it's an animal product or whether it's vegetables or wheat or corn or whatever. They're doing a good job out there in the country growing these things so we can have a safe, abundant, nutritious supply of food.
And you mentioned abundant, and we've talked about this before. Never around here have we really run into this, but there are places where people have to get to the store early to get the best supply because it runs out through the day.
That's right, Enola. There's a lot of places that don't have a food supply all day long. In fact, many places in the world, it's almost hand to mouth. And you go every day and you get your supply of food. They may not have refrigeration. They may not have a way to keep it, but it's something that you do every day as you get up, and you know that that's got to be the primary thing, is to provide food for your family. We don't have that so much here in this country. You can go down to the grocery store, you can go to Walmart, you can go to a lot of different places and buy food. And that's why we want to keep an abundant supply of food here. We're very fortunate in this country that we've had an efficient agriculture all these years that can supply food for people that they can enjoy all day, every day.
And as you mentioned earlier about the eggs sort of making a recurrence, people are having backyard, chicken pens and providing eggs for their family. So is backyard gardening is really coming to the forefront again.
That's right. I know a lot of people like to grow a few things. I was noticing this week an ad that came in one of the farm magazines about growing tomatoes in a container. And a lot of people are doing that, growing tomatoes, cucumbers, growing whatever. And it's good that they do that. But we have to remember that out here in rural Texas, there's still a lot of space to do that sort of thing. When you get into a metropolitan area like Dallas and Fort Worth, how many people are going to do it? Can they maintain that? But they always know that they have a backup supply of food. If their tomatoes don't work this year in the container, they know they can run down to the grocery store and get tomatoes or cucumbers or whatever. And that's the blessing that we have here in this country, is that we have an abundant food supply that people can depend on.
Well, I appreciate Farm Bureau kind of carrying the banner for all of that this weekend, reminding all of us, because sometimes we take that for granted.
Well, that's right. We're doing this all over the state of Texas. I think we have Farm Bureaus in about 251 counties in the state of Texas. And in almost all of those counties, there's going to be something going on this week about Food Connection. It may be doing something with school children. It may be providing a meal for out on a square or somewhere so that people can actually taste food that maybe was grown on the farm. But all over this state, we're celebrating that. In fact, I think all over the country, at some point in time this year, we're going to have a Food Connection Week.
Okay, so our very next giveaway in Food Connection Week will be tomorrow, Wednesday. We'll have one Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, the gift card to Brookshire's is the prize.
That's right. We want folks to listen here on KSST and to think about what is being said here on the radio about Food Connection Week. But we want to also listen to that trivia question. And it's a pretty easy question sometimes, but we want them to listen to that and to think about it. The fact that we do have an efficient agriculture, that farmers and ranchers continually have to be efficient in what they do or they won't be in business.